Divorce. Divorce is one of the extreme topic have existed in the world because we got a lot to share. We have situations, we got things, and so on, and we have consequences of, even though we've been right or wrong. But sometimes divorce is also a sense of freedom, liberty, uh, sense of starting your life over and enjoying another warmth of life, another freshing air, and so on, which is going to help you. But before to get over the point, we go through intense situation or space which is going to be so harder and complicated for us somehow. So we have points that we need to consider. We have a list of it. So in this series, we're going to develop different points about things that can lead to divorce and some troubles or problems that we encounter in the family's relationship and so on with your partner and so forth. So the 4 points that we're going to list today is only when we want to get divorced. The first point is about financial problem. Okay, the second is about what we call about the effect this is gonna have on us ourselves. Okay, when we get divorced and so on, and we also have also the effect that's going to have to kids if we have children. When we are parenting, we're gonna have parenting issues and so forth. And now also to forget that divorce is one of the problems that is going also to cause intense complications sometimes in life. So what we're going to do is this. Let's go now to analyzing one of the first point. You know, most of the time we tend to say I want out. Why you want out? The reason is this. Keep this in mind. The rundown house shows signs of neglect. Over the years, what happened is that it has withered many storms, not all of them successfully. Now the structure is fragile, and the collapse of the house seems imminent. And this is true. It's really true. Most of the time, when situation starts in the family, it might be just negligent. We neglected certain points, the affection of your mate, or certain big issues that you were supposed to sit down and talk over, but you neglecting them. You said is not important, or maybe we neglected a sense of personality we were supposed to keep stable constantly, and then we deviated from it, which is gonna cause severe trouble with time. And then throughout this stormy period, so maybe the house went through different situations, problems, and so on. And we feel that we're still resisting. It's like a suit to say, no, I have my hammer. Everything is well going. So remember that not all of them succeed in a good way. Well, now all of them fail successfully. What happened is that we may not realize then subtly already the structure how a marriage bound is already became fragile. No way to move on, what to do, and so on. We don't know. And then finally the collapse, which is truly imminent. Then the house is completely down. So that picture describes the state of many marriages today. Okay, maybe if you have a threat that your own marriage may be heading in the same direction. If so, you need to be assured that no couple is human into problems. No. In fact, you need to understand that the pain and grief in the marriage may happen. So do the best possible to see how you're going to be so stable, have a strong brain power so as to solve all issues that may rise up to your marriage. Underscoring the truthfulness of those words, one team of researchers, described marriage as the most noticed risky undertaking routinely taken on by the greatest number of people in our society. And they had this. Something's gonna hurt. They say that what start out as a relationship of great joy and promise, it can become the most frustrating and painful endeavor in a person's lifetime. And this is true, of course. It's true. And we cannot doubt. Sometimes this happens in life. So the question is, what about your marriage? Since you got married, maybe you spend 2, 3, some months and so on. So what about your marriage? 10 years, 15? Are you still keeping your marriage bond stronger? Are you still nourishing it in the good way? If you do, congratulations for you. If you don't, you need to reconsider certain points. Well, maybe your marriage is characterized by one or more of the following traits that I'm going to list. We can have constant arguing, foul language, or bitter speech, infidelity, resentment, non-respect for each other, and so on. So we have a lot of things. But if your marriage seems fragile and its collapse seems imminent, what are you going to do? What should you do now? Is divorce the last answer to the problem? So you need to be more vigilant. From the margin to the mainstream, we have something we need to consider. In some lands, the divorce rates have skyrocketed. Why? Because we're going to consider the United States, where for many years, divorce was relatively uncommon. But after 1960, writes Barbara, Whitehead, in her book The Divorce Culture, she said something which has been accelerated at a dancing pace. She said this: it doubled in roughly a decade and continued its upward climb until the early 1980s, when it stabilized at the higher level, among advanced Western societies. As a consequence of this sharp and sustained rise, divorce moved from the margins to the mainstream of American life in this past of 3 decades. And she may be right. And that's true. Today in the United States, the truth is that even developed countries, we have this situation that we're facing, and it's really complicated. And divorce is becoming nothing really. To get divorced is like going to your kitchen, do whatever you're gonna do, and so on. But keep in mind things that you should know about divorce, as we listed the 4 points. After asserting the damage, the owners have a choice: either to tear down the house or save it. So is your marriage at a similar juncture? Perhaps your spouse has betrayed your trust, or recurrent conflict have sapped the joy from your relationship. So if so, you might tell yourself somehow, saying that we've fallen out of love, or we just aren't meant for each other, or we didn't know that, what we were doing when we got married. So you could even be thinking that maybe you should get divorced. But please, before making a hasty decision to end your marriage, you should think of something. Is that divorce does not always end life's anxieties. That's the point. Sometimes we can think that really maybe the problem is our partner, but maybe we just too much perfect, in the sense that we're looking for perfections from our partner. So maybe the problem is not there. Maybe the problem is outside of your marriage bond. It means that the way you are going through different situations, the troubles, the problems in life, the way you were confronting those situations, and you confronting those problems, and so on, you can have a sense of worthlessness, that you're nothing. And if you're not wise, or you're not strong enough, what's going to happen is that this can affect you negatively, in a way that you cannot balance it. And when you can be too negative to your partner's imperfections, that's going to launch you to your problem. Now, those anxieties you do have coming from the world, when you've been facing them along with your partner, you're going to take them as things coming from your partner, because you just tend to focus on your partner's imperfections. We don't say, maybe it can be true that it's your partner who is causing more trouble or pain or sorrow to you. This may also be true. But just you need to be more careful when it comes to this. Why? Because we have one book, The Good Enough Teen, okay? Being written by Dr. Branson. It wants this. It says that separating couples, notice, fantasized about the perfect divorce, the sudden and permanent passing of gray and stormy conflict, replaced by the cool, comforting breezes of serenity and congeniality. Of course, it's right at one point. To a certain point, it's all right. But remember that such a state is just as eternally elusive as is the perfect marriage. So it is important then to be fully informed and to approach the question of divorce realistically. That's going to help in a good way, and it's going to avoid you some aftermaths. Because whether you right or wrong, a divorce can help you to start over your life, or it can help you to start enjoying a meaningful life somehow. But sometimes it can also cause more damage to your lifetime. And even though you right or wrong, still we have some consequences, and we have the fruits coming from a divorce. Whether you've been right or wrong, you will still reap those fruits, whether bitter or sweet. That's the way. Whether bitter or sweet. So we don't say that divorce is bad for certain people. Maybe those who have taken such a decision of divorcing, they did wrong, but it depends. Some, they were right to do it, some not. So why we say so? We have certain examples that I'm going to give of different women that said about it and so on. And we're going to say that they were right. They were right to some extent, okay, to go through it. Notice, we have one woman by the name of Danielle, okay? Danielle, she's from Italy, and she was married for 12 years. And today, if we calculate it, we're going to have maybe something like 30 or 40 or 45 years since since this has been said. And you know what? She divorced. But see what she said here. That she had found out that her husband has been having an affair with a colleague. And by the time that she discovered it, the woman was already 6 months pregnant. Shock that was to Danielle about the situation. So after a period of separation, they then decided to get a divorce. She ended up to it. We understanding a pain, a frustration, a feeling, and so on. And notice this, she said that I tried to save my marriage, okay, but my husband continues still to be unfaithful, okay? And she realized that she had made the right decision of divorcing her husband. She said that, notice, as soon as we separated, my economic situation became disastrous. Sometimes I didn't even have an evening meal. I would just drink a glass of milk. We have another one by the name of Mary living in Spain. She suffered a similar setback. Okay? She said that my ex-husband doesn't give us any financial support. And I have to work very hard to pay up debts he had. I also had to move from a comfortable house into a small apartment in a safe area. Of course, ancient time was really complicated for divorced persons to enjoy life in a good way. Especially women were the one we were mistreated. We were painting, going through a complicated ordeal, and it was dramatically so harder for them even to continue enjoying a good life with children after divorce. So in this, a lot of aspects and countries, developed countries, decided really that may take matter underhand so as to know how to earn, especially women. And today we are understanding that somehow they are enjoying life in a good way. That's right. But remember this: whether you've been right or wrong, we have consequences. Financial problem, we're going to face it. Even though your husband is going to be, your ex-husband will be taking care of children, still they're going to become adult and so on. But you will have problem about affection. Because when you got married, you didn't mean to divorce one day. So you are shocked, and you have a feeling of sadness, of loneliness, and there is also a feeling of worthlessness, that you're nothing. And this is really complicated. And another problem is this about the parenting issues, is that most of the time, even you rich or richer, or you will struggle about this case. This issue of parenting children is one of the most difficult one, because you need the affection of the one with whom you married those kids, or you fathered those children. So you will still have some aftermaths, though it was maybe a right decision that you have made, but you will still have this. And a part of this, if that will not really affect you negatively, but you have your kids. Most of the time you have kids. And even though you will say that I'm strong enough, I can get through it without any problem, but consequences is about children are yours, or the child is yours. And when a child will start having some kinds of attitude and so on, these are going to affect you negatively, and you will still be carrying that heavy responsibility. So in this way, maybe you've been right, maybe not, but here we're talking about the consequences of divorce. This can really launch many to suffer and so on. But this way, it is still more important to see what you should do. If this might have happened, okay, anyway, do the best possible, so that's to see how you're going to be morally stronger, mentally, and try physically speaking also to to keep yourself in a good shape. Though you could still suffer somehow, but you will have the possibility to resist and move on forward. You know, something is that we cannot change the past. Men will say that, but the present, we can. And even our future depends not on the past sometimes, depends on the way we're struggling a presence to make it brighter. And then things will also be okay. So stay positive. Stay positive still, though it's not easy. Be the one was creating a good environment. Be steady. Try to talk to people who are maturity enough, those who are wise. And look for people who are smarter than you are, or those who went through those situations, who are going to advise you in a good way, in a positive way. If you look for those who are younger than you are but not smarter, and those who are older than you are but not smarter, and who are giving you negative advices, you will not end up good. So it's a complicated period of time after a divorce. So do the best. So in this area, has been said at the outset, we have different points we're going to allow us to know how we're going to get moving on after divorce. And for some who have not yet got divorced, that need to reconsider certain points. We allow people to understand tracks and problems and so on, how they can be solving any issue and so forth. Maybe your marriage is a risk. Marriage is not worse. So you need only to reconsider and take time to have a open conversation and serious dialogue and talk about serious matters. Express yourself openly. Let your feelings be known to your partner. Don't be afraid of it. Only learn how to put different words at its place. Not in the way of hurting your partner. And you could tell your partner, really, maybe I can say things which are going to hurt you, but may you understand me. I'm expressing my feelings. When you know that something is going to hurt your partner, and you're going to do the best to see the way you're going to express yourself, don't go straight forward like you're accusing your partner of if you don't have proofs. And even though your partner is wrong to one point, try to work along as a team. Don't dwell on the imperfection of your partner. Work harder. And if you already divorced your husband or your wife, don't be too harsh or hard to yourself. It's the past. Don't continue, swording yourself, using the sword and so on, like you have already scars and we don't know how intense it is. Try to be honest. Take time to realize where you have fallen and learn from them or learn from it. And do the best, see how you're going, though not to make matter work in a good way, or to fix it, or fix the problem, or fix them. Be reasonable and move forward. The next video, which is going to come, going to allow us to know what else we should do, how we can move on after divorce. Thank you. See you then next time. Bye.